Hey all, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spiders. This episode we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite all-time tarantulas, Grammostola rosea, or the Chilean Rose Hair, or the Rosie. Love these guys. My first tarantula ever was a Chilean Rose that I picked up back in the mid-90s. We called her the Queen. She lived with us for over 25 years before she passed away from old age. So I have a certain affinity for this species. Unfortunately, as time's gone on and more species have been available in the hobby, these guys have kind of gotten a bad rep or are considered to be boring by some, which is a shame because they're amazing spiders and I think a true hobby staple. This episode, we're going to be taking a look at my little girl who is quite old. You'll find out how old in a minute, and not very big. So she is very slow growing, but I love this little spider and very excited to show her off. So enough of me talking. Let's take a look at Grammostola rosea, or the Chilean Rose Hair. Okay, so we're about to rehouse a Grammostola rosea, or a Chilean Rose Hair tarantula. Believe it or not, as I open this one up, and I've talked about this one before, and I've featured her a couple times before. She's absolutely stunning. But this spider here is just about 10 years old. I picked her up, as far as I can tell, it was January of 2014. So she'll be 10 years. I'll have had her 10 years this coming January. And at that time, she was a teeny tiny little sling. And originally, I had set her up in one of the AMAC box enclosures. They're the ones that are about, I think, 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 by about 4 inches tall. If you look up AMAC boxes, they're the little ones people like using for slings. And she was in that for quite some time. And it was funny because she actually did a bunch of burrowing, dug out her area around the piece of cork bark I had, and then she would sit on top of the cork bark like an arboreal, which really was kind of endearing behavior because I hadn't seen anything do that before. But anyway, we eventually moved her. She put on a little bit of size, and we're like, all right, we weren't so much moving her out of necessity. I just wanted to kind of put her into something bigger. So we put her into a 16-ounce deli cup. Then, as you'll see in this video here, back in August 17th of 2016, kind of crappy footage because I don't think we were doing full HD back then, but we move her from the 16-ounce deli cup into one of the European style enclosures that were popular a while back. I guess they were just basically takeout containers, but we put her into one of those. And then if Billy backs up just a bit here, this is what she's in now, which is honestly it's not a bad size for her, but I just want to upgrade her into something better. So this here is one of the small M design containers. They don't make this particular version. This one here is 6.5 inches by 5.5 inches by about 3.75 inches deep, or 16.5 by 13.3 by 9.5 centimeters. They have since stopped making this one here. They now make another one that is deeper that I like more. It's about 5 inches or 12.7 centimeters deep, which I believe are more versatile because I can put some fossorial species in there. They allow for more substrate. So I kind of like that they did that upgrade. I don't think they were thinking of me when they did it, but it works for me. So this one here is going to go into this container here, which is the M design. Anybody that's watched my videos knows I love these. I get them off Amazon. You can buy them in 2-packs, 1-packs. I think they're usually a little cheaper in the 2-packs. But this one here runs about 12.75 inches by 7.25 inches by 7 inches tall, or 32.4 by 14 by 18.4 by 18 centimeters. So good size. I like these they're good for dwarf species. I use a lot of them for juvenile species. They allow for enough room of substrate and to give the spiders a little room to grow. Now, what we have here for substrate is my own mix. It's cocoa fiber, peat, sand, shredded sphagnum moss, and it is bone dry. This is a species that even from slings do not like moisture. So you want to make sure that the substrate is mostly dry, or in this case, once they get to be juvenile adult, bone dry. We have a couple different hides because I'm hoping she may do a little burrowing. After her last molt, she started digging in here, but there really wasn't enough room for her to do any burrowing. So we're going to see what she does here. I'm hoping she'll make a little burrow and hang in there. Who knows? These guys are infamous for being quote unquote pet rocks because they'll sit right out in the open, which is fine by me. But if she'd like to do some burrowing, we're going to give her that option. So we give her 2 places to start with, some leaf litter because it looks nice. She will be getting a water dish, and that's something that folks need to know about these guys. Although they like dry conditions as far as their substrate, they will drink. They will drink off the sides of enclosures, and they will drink from water dishes. So as you can see in this one here, she already has 2 water dishes because she buried one up. But when in doubt, if they bury one up, I just drop in a new one. Now, as far as slings are concerned, when she was a sling, I would moisten down just a corner of the substrate. And usually what I would do is dribble water on her cork bark or on the side of the enclosure, and she could drink for that, but I didn't want to overdo it with the substrate, getting it too moist because they don't like that. A hint for these guys, if you give them moist substrate, they will usually cling to the sides of the enclosures. They won't walk on it. If you have cork bark in there or rocks or decorations, they will hang on top of the decorations and the cork bark because they don't like the feel of it. Also, if you use cocoa fiber, which is a very popular substrate, and you don't pack it down well, you leave it fluffy, once again, they will tiptoe on it. They will walk very oddly on it. And a lot of times they will avoid it completely. So just a heads up there. So what we're going to do is put her into this new enclosure here, which is going to give her plenty of room. And the rate she's growing, she will be in that until I'm in a nursing home. I mean, it's literally, she's 10 years old. I still can't go. I talk about it all the time, but I actually double checked the numbers to make sure I wasn't exaggerating, and I wasn't. So she is rather laid back and calm. So this is one we could probably do the poke and pray for, but I don't know how well this is going to fit in there. Brush. Didn't beforehand I got all my brushes out so I'd have them, and now I can't find them. Actually, you know, we'll just use we'll keep it easy. There you go. No. Did you just, oh my God, that is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Look. Come over this way. That is a threat posture. And her fangs, look at her fangs. Her fangs are actually out. I just got a threat posture from a G. rosea. You can see, actually, that's a beautiful shot. You can see I don't want to get her too jacked up. I can't get that in there. You can see the reddish. This would be I believe the RCF red color form. It used to be G. rosea and G. porteri were considered two different species. G. porteri got a little bit larger, a little less of that red on the legs, but they had the purple carapace. The G. rosea, a little smaller, a little more high strung usually. I can't believe she's doing that, but I love it. And they usually have that reddish appearance to them. So this is going to get interesting now. And this is why when folks say like this, I have never received any type of issue from the spider whatsoever. This is why when folks talk about their spiders being, you know, very handleable, you got to be careful and test out the temperament, because that girl there had her fangs out. She wasn't playing around. So what we're going to do is drop that right over top of her. If she strikes, I'm kind of going to giggle. And it's funny because we just rehoused an old world species. I think, what did we do? The Flamingo cut. No, what the heck did we do? Oh, the P. murinus.
Oh, yeah.
And we got just a slight little threat posture on it. And we talked about how usually we have more trouble with some of the New World species. And there's a prime example. They're the ones that are caught out in the open. They're not burrowing species. They don't have all the webbing to hide in. So if you catch them out, they will sometimes resort to throwing up a little cute threat posture. And we're going to get that right off of there. And we're going to poke her in the booty right there. And she's going to turn around and goes, screw you, Tom.
Oh, what the?
She is actually attacked. She's got her fangs out.
Holy Moses.
Okay, so there you go, folks. What was once considered, there she flipped around. Look at, she's chasing it. Girl, stop. Seriously, stop being a brat. That is considered to be one of the best beginner species out there. And a caveat to that, obviously, temperament can vary from specimen to specimen, and sometimes they just have a bad day. So she's probably like, why are you bothering me? I've been in this container now for like, I think she's been in this one for probably 5 years. Why are you bothering to mess with me? I don't know if Billy's getting any shots of her. No, you do not get to go on a walkabout because you're kind of a turd. There we go. There we go. So we'll talk a little bit about it. I'm actually excited for that one only because we've spent so much time. I've had so many conversations with people when I post up old world stuff saying I get more of a reaction out of my new worlds when I rehouse them. And there you go. We got a little blurry there. We got a good reaction out of her. So anyway, this one will be getting a water dish, probably somewhere right in the middle so she has access to it. What I'm hoping she'll do is probably settle down in one of these two areas here. Even if she doesn't do any burrowing or webbing, she has a place to hide so she doesn't get all nasty if I disturb her. But that is literally the first sweat posture I've ever received for one. Now, growth rate, obviously growth rate, super duper slow. I know there's going to be people that come on and say they have faster growth rate. I understand that, but at least this is the growth rate you can anticipate if you're not heating them. Back when I first got her, my temperatures in the tarantula room would drop down to like 65 degrees in the wintertime every once in a while, not sustained, usually right around 70 degrees. Summertime, we were talking about high 70s. Now in the new tarantula room, the temperatures in the wintertime are right around 73 degrees all winter long. And the summertime, it's anywhere from mid 70s to mid 80s, sometimes like right around 80 degrees most of the time. Feeding or appetites, This is one that will eat like a piggy and then just stop eating. And then you'll think she's done. She's in pre-molt. You'll try her again several months down the line and she'll eat again. I did have her go, I believe, 3.5 years in between molts at one point. So they are ones that you think, all right, she's in pre-molt. It's going to be, a molt will be imminent. And next thing you know it, nope, no molt. She just sits around and doesn't eat and sits there. But I don't care. I love them. And personal note, I love G. rosea / G. porteri. For a lot of us that are older, that have been in the hobby, these were the first spiders we ever had, so they hold an extra special place in our heart. It drives me nuts, and somebody will do it on this video, and somebody will do it and think it's funny, but when people come on and say, yep, they're just boring spiders or whatever, who cares? Nobody cares about your opinion. I was just talking to my buddy Eric Topping, who actually his band made the theme song for Tom's Big Spiders, and he was talking to somebody that he posted up a picture of, I believe, his G. porteri, and somebody came on and said they're boring. It's like, why do you have to do that? There are so many different species out there. If you don't have something nice to say or it's not your favorite species, shut up and move on. I just don't get that whole mindset. Your spider's boring. Well, go get something else. So I love them personally. I know there are a lot of folks out there that also love them. So hopefully folks that are out there that are fans of these guys will check this video out. Now, unfortunately, we're hoping to get better shots, and I'll probably get some shots afterward to fill in case. It looks like Billy's got some good ones here. It's tough. She's having to film through the actual plastic, which is not the best case scenario. But hopefully this one settles down later. We'll put that water dish in, and I'll try feeding her again later because she has been eating like a little piggy. And winter's coming, so I have a funny feeling once things get a little bit chillier, she's going to slow down with the eating. Okay. All right. And yes, I know that I should. This is squeaky. There we go. Get some shots of her in there. Yes, you can put, I believe, olive oil, somebody said, in there. Most of mine don't squeak too badly, but that one's pretty squeaky. But gorgeous spider. Love them. G. rosea, hobby staple. I will die on that one. I mean, they are amazing specimens. They were hugely popular back in the 70s and 80s and even in the 90s because, unfortunately, people were just plucking them out of the wild in Chile. They were going into the pet trade. A lot of folks would start off with an adult that they pulled out, and a lot of us love them because of it. So there we go. Grammostola, rosea, Chilean Rose Hair. We'll keep doing updates on this one and see if she shows any growth over the next. I'm hoping what'll happen is the next molt she'll put on a decent amount of size, but even if she doesn't, who cares? Awesome little spider. So again, the nice part about the tarantula hobby is there are so many different types of spiders, colors, patterns, behaviors, that there's something out there for everyone. It just always drives me nuts when somebody comes on and goes out of their way to make a comment like that's a boring spider, or I don't like that species. That's great. And I'm sure you probably keep something that I'm not particularly enamored with, but I love it when people just keep it positive and say nice things about it because I think that's all obviously a matter of opinion. So it's a personal hang up of mine only because I've had it happen so many times when I post something up with one of my species, may it be a Grammostola or a Faunapelma, and somebody will come on and go, that's a boring spider. Or the other one is, it's just a brown spider. It drives me nuts. I just think any giant spider is cool as far as I'm concerned. Even as I've spent years in the hobby keeping many, many species, I will still never get over the fact that they actually have spiders out there that are as large as some of the ones we keep. Whether it's a brown spider, whether it's a spider that's very active, whether it's a spider that throws up a threat pose, whether it's a spider that just sits there like a pet rock, I don't care. I love them all the same. So for those of you out there that love Grammostola, rosea, I really like to hear from some folks out there that love them with some of what they love about them, because I know there's going to be some folks seeing this video that maybe aren't as familiar with these spiders, and we want to kind of represent them in a good way. Also, as you noticed there, this one threw up quite the little threat posture, which I found to be absolutely adorable. And once again, that kind of backs up what me and a lot of other keepers have seen with our own collections, that sometimes the New World species can be more of a handful than the Old World species. So here's one that spent years and a list of one of the best beginner species you can keep, throwing up a threat posture, tossing out those fangs, trying to ward me off. And I thought it was just absolutely adorable. Now, obviously, she's calmed down quite a bit, and we got some footage of her eating. And I don't blame her one bit for throwing up the threat posture because I was shoving a paintbrush up her butt while she was just trying to enjoy her Saturday. So that will do it for this one. As always, if you'd like to up to subscribe, very much appreciate. Click the little circle up there. I'll put a couple more videos in here. If you take the time to comment, I'll respond. Just know it can take me a couple days. Guys, stay safe. Catch you all next time.